Well, hello everyone. So, thank you all for joining us today. In this webinar, we will develop two completely different and complex MVPs from zero to launch by Formaloo. And the goal of this webinar is to show that launching your MVP doesn't necessarily mean to have spent thousands of dollars or months to develop it. So here I will invite Farah to the stage to start the webinar, and here we go.
So, hello everyone. I hope you have a very great day today. We want to wait a couple of more minutes for more people to join us, and I wanted to thank you all to joining us today. This is our second webinar that is focused on creating products and starting to create a new product from a no-code platform and creating an efficient MVP. So, for the start of the webinar, we talk a little bit about what an MVP should be. As you all know, MVP stands for minimum viable product. The idea behind the MVP is this. It's very simple. I have an idea. I have an idea for a startup, or I have an idea for new features. It's not just about a startup. It's just about any features that can be implemented to a bigger product as well. So I have an idea and I'm pretty confident about it, but the most important thing is this. I'm not sure if it works or not. As you saw many times, even big companies like Apple, like Google, like Microsoft, even they are wrong about the product implementations and product features. And they are usually reverting back more things than adding new things to that. Just look at the latest MacBook Pro features. The biggest features are reverting back what they did wrong before. The MVP job is simple as that, to give you an idea on how people respond to your ideas. So if they like this feature, if they like your idea, if they like your startup, or you are missing something. It's either something very small that you can tweak, but the MVP give you an advantage of finding that very soon, or it's something very big and you have to pivot your idea. So I'm probably guilty of this more than anyone else in this room, that doing something so much complicated from the start and not doing it small enough. From my previous startups, every time I started bigger than I should. And I wasted a lot of money and I wasted a lot of precious times. So I can feel good about my first version of my product, basically. So I spent a lot of time developing new softwares, finding bugs, adding new features that ultimately we took all out because people didn't like it or didn't understand it, and the feedback was not enough. Great thing about creating products, developing new startups is that the web is a democratic place. So there is only one thing that matters. If people like your product, they use it. If people don't like it, they won't use it. There's nothing that forces people to use a product for a long time. And every product that make it have people votes, basically. The only thing that matters is the feedback of the people. And people usually want something that is very understandable and very simple. Every product that is live today is because it's a simpler version of the product that was alive yesterday. And every product that will alive tomorrow and will replace the tools, the products that we are using today is because they are just simpler. The simplicity is very important to every product. But to create something very simple, you don't have to add a stuff, you have to remove a stuff. everything that we think is necessary is not, unless people really, really need it. So the biggest questions on creating new startup, on validating a new idea, or updating a product is that what people like, what people need, basically. So a very good thing is that we ask people so they can tell us what they need. It's usually wrong. People don't know what they want. They know what they need, basically. So you don't. There is a good thing to hear people's feedback, but you have to decide what to do to answer those needs. Because if people say, I want these things, they usually don't. A very popular quote is that, I don't know if it's genuine or not, but Ford says, if I ask people what they wanted 100 years ago, they would have said faster horses, but they wanted cars. So the main job of us is to find out how can we answer the people's needs. So we can create that. Creating something new is very hard. It needs a very genuine idea. It needs something that is much better than the alternatives, and it should be simple enough. It should be easy enough for people so they can understand and use it. That's why most of the new products fail, because they cannot crack that. And that's okay. We are not here to crack down how to not create products that people don't want, because the best companies out there, the best teams out there will create products that people don't want, because nothing makes sense in that area until people say, I like this or I don't like this. Even timing is very important. Maybe they won't like this today, but tomorrow they will like it. So you have to hear about the feedback. So the most important thing about this is not to create a stuff unless they are perfect, because you cannot do that and it doesn't happen. And no successful company that I know started that way. Every successful company that I know started with a crappy software, started with a very, very bad products, but they made it better faster than anybody else. So making it better is the key. Hearing about feedback of the people, hearing how they use it and tweak it so people can use it better, faster, simpler, and understand it better is the key to creating a good product. A method that is we want to say today is to create MVPs. So to understand what is the minimal product that we can build in the less amount of time and less amount of money that we can spend, so we can get the feedbacks, because based on that feedback we will change most of the things. So the first thing that we want to do is to decide what should be the MVP of our products. Again, it can be a complete new startup or a feature that we want to add to our product, a side project, anything new that we want to build, we should build an MVP first. This part is easy. An MVP is not an incomplete product. It's very simple but yet complete products. People should be able to use it, but it can be better tomorrow. It can add more features tomorrow. But if people are not able to use it, is it half-assed, is it incomplete, the MVP it's not a product. It's just an idea or a product in development. So an MVP is absolutely a full product, but it's very, very small. Since 2 or 3 years ago, creating MVPs is a norm in everywhere in a startup world. But a very, very great thing that happened in the 2 or 3 years ago is that people wanted to create MVPs that doing a lot of cool stuff. And not a lot of people know how to code. or they are unable to find good developers for that. And another thing that is bothering most of the people is that development of a product usually takes a long time. So time is something that you cannot miss when you're creating something new, because maybe in a month you want to scrap that project and move something else or pivot it. And if you spend 6 months on just developing your product that you want to discontinue in a couple of months, doesn't make sense. You lose a lot of money, and if the money is not the matter, you lose time, and time matters to any successful company. So the idea is this: how can I create something without coding? So I can create it like in matter of not weeks or months, like days or hours. So I can test it. I can create something very, very small about my idea, about something that I think is cool and people will like it. And I can share it with my friends, share it with my audience, with my community, and give the feedback. If people like it, I will continue. If people don't, I won't. And if people like it but don't love it, I can tweak it until people love it. Today we want to talk about that. And we want to create 2 MVPs today in 1 hour. So you can see how easy it is today, thankfully, in 2021, to create 2 MVPs in less than one hour, and you can publish it basically and use it, and people can use it, and you can tweak it later. A great thing about the no-code development, that is development without any code, is that it's very great for a start, and you can continue with it or develop your future softwares based on what you created. So you don't have to scrap this and say, okay, I create a crappy version now and then I move to a better version tomorrow if people like it. You can actually customize it and build your bigger system on top of that. And a lot of great companies created something like that and started with something like that. The most important ones that I remember is Trello, for example. So this was why we should create MVP. If anyone have any question on that, we can have that now, and we move forward to creating an MVP right now, our first one. Cool. So let me set up my thing here to create the first MVP. So the first MVP. Let me create that. Cool. So I will share my screen now. For our first MVP, we will create a mobile application, a fully native mobile application. Actually, we can create native mobile applications without coding. So you can get better than that. It's not a web application even that you can say, oh, I don't have some kind of features that I need and I want to be native, to be on App Store or Google Play. You can create native applications without coding. This is a great thing about today's no-code platforms. So we want to create a native application. I share my screen. And I wanted to see you. A few weeks ago, I created a small idea that I had personally called Startup 101. I wanted to teach curate the materials that is very good for entrepreneurs to know about starting a startup, and I wanted to show that to others to create a learning community. So the first version of that was creating an application. I want to give you the application. It's already live. You can check it on Google Play. It's a Startup 101. I wanted to give people the idea of how we can create something, create a new startup. There is a lot of great things out there, great education, learning materials, but you have to know which one to learn first, what to do, what is the best practices. So I created a curated version of that, and everyone can create on that. I will share my screen here. Give me a second. And screen here. So as you can see, here is my screen and here's my application. As you can see, it's a full application, and these are the materials that I created there and put it out there. I think I have an echo. How's that? No, it's better. I think it's better now. Okay, cool. Sorry about that. So here's the full application. You see I have a menu. I have my lessons, basically. And everyone that is learning these lessons is seeing the progress. They can continue, and they can learn via flashcards. I can put videos, I can put text, I can put even quizzes in there. Anything that I want, I can do, and there is everything that I need. Very good application. I just finished a lesson. So it's not a very big application of learning. It's not the best learning application out there, but it's a very niche market. I wanted the starting entrepreneurs that are in early stage of starting their entrepreneur experience to have something curated for them. I wanted to show you how you can create this fully native application for yourselves with a lot of animations, anything like that, like creating bolt system, anything on that. So now that you saw that, I will stop sharing my screen. Stop sharing. Awesome. I can. Good. I'm back here. The fun of having two systems. Okay, I wanted to create something here. I already published this, so you can go to resources here on Formaloo website and see this one, Startup 101. But I want to create this now from the start. From our website, you can see on the footer how much to make an app, and it's a system. It's fully backed to our system of creating the app development. So I wanted to create an application. I want to create an Android one. I want to create an educational application and educational app for course. There are a lot of options. You can check it. And I want to choose from templates. The best thing is that when you are on MVP, the design should be very great, but it shouldn't be unique because you don't know if you have in future those features or not. So you don't have to spend a lot of money on creating logos or unique designs or design systems. These are for much, much later. You just need something that is simple, very good UI, very good UX. Those are the musts. But it shouldn't be unique. It can be from a template. It can be something that is eye-catching, but it's not for you. It's not especially built for you, and you didn't spend thousands of dollars on that just to scrap it next week. So I choose from templates. It gives me an estimation. It's $19 a month. Cool. And I can now it gets all the information about the application, everything that need, and after that it should give me all the things that I must, and that's it. Later I come to dashboard and I just created my applications. I can show you it's here, and as you can see, I created my courses here and I can edit them, for example, and it's automatically edited in your system as well. So I can edit my courses and it's automatically created on there. I can edit it or just do anything that I want and save it, and it works. That's it. So as simple as that, we created an online learning application about course. This can be for one course or a lot of courses, or it can be an official application for a university or a school, anything that you want. You can even create courses that are paid, courses that are free, or courses that requires membership to see, anything you want. And I just created in less than a day. So nothing else is stopping you to create something that you want. If you have something that you want to teach, or you have something you want to create an app for your e-commerce, you want to create an app for event registration, networking in events. So anything you want, you can create it, basically. I just stopped sharing the screen. So the part was finished on that. So this was our first MVP. Very great. For the second one, I wanted to to look at deeper experience of what I can really do. So with Formaloo, you can create any kind of applications that you want. It shouldn't be just mobile applications. It can be web applications or web services, anything that you want, basically. And for that, I need development, right? But no, I need customization of the software. So if I can create a software that is customizable enough, I can create anything based on the system. So let's share my screen again. For our second thing, I want to show you something. I want to create a rate and review website. I want to see a rate and review website on that people can rate and review services. From a long time, I had a vision of creating rate and reviews for airlines, because in some airlines, I don't like them. They had a very worse experience on that. I had but some airlines are very cool, but I couldn't find an online review website so I can see what airlines are good, what airlines are bad. So I created something like this. So I can choose my airline, for example, Aeroflot. I didn't have a good experience with them. How likely do you recommend Aeroflot to others? This is NPS, a very simple thing, like 2. And I can rate features. For example, this was bad, this was average, and I can continue. And I can even comment on that, and that's it. And if I see here, British Aeroflot, as you can see, one person only voted because I just built this, only voted on this. And in here, for example, the other things, Air France, they got more features. And I can see who rated what. This that didn't have. And I can see what people love. For example, Lufthansa, one people rated and everything was great. For this, it wasn't so much. British Airways, not so great. And as you can see, I can see everything here. And if something is not in the list, they can add it from here. So we want to create this from the start. So first, I will go to my dashboard. I will go to the template, as you saw this is a logic-based web application. So based on the airline that I choose, I want to choose to rate for that airline. So let's go to logic base here, logic and conditions. And as you can see, you can create anything here. I want to create a rate and review system. You can demo it first. I want this. Pick this template. It automatically move me to here. Great. I want to title it EU top 10 airlines. Rate your trips and see which airlines Europe. For example, I want this to be here. Cool. I can create or edit anything that I want. For example, I didn't like the last question that I had. What airline should be added next? That's good. But if you can say something to them, what do you want them to hear? For example, I want to, if you can say one thing to this airline, what would it be? Just for fun. I save it. It's already updated. Cool. Another thing that I need is that, you see, a new app is built. I want to create logic for that. So you see logic, you see calculator, you see presentation mode, and we will see everything else. If you are a team, you have access management here. So as you can see, it's already built because it was a template, but I want to create something new for that as well. As you can see, there are different things. If I click on them, for example, from the choose airline, I create, if the choose airline is Ryanair, jump to Ryanair. Everything for everyone is created. But I want to add a new airline to that. For example, I want to add Air Baltic to this. I go to my dashboard. I click edit. And as you can see, this is a flowchart of your application, basically. You can create anything on that and customize it any way you want, or change it anything that you want on that. And every if and else, every rule, every conditions can be added here, or even if you are a tech savvy person, you can have advanced logic here, which is way more powerful and can do a lot more stuff. Okay, I have this. It's good, but it doesn't have Air Baltic. I want to add Air Baltic to it. So my first question was choose your airline. My first number of my first screen of my application is this, and I wanted to create Air Baltic. I created Air Baltic to that. So now I have to create the second screen, how to recommend Air Baltic. I just copy them, created, oh cool, and Air Baltic to that, and I need to rate features for them as well. Here, copy, created Air Baltic. That's it. Everything else remains the same. I save it. Great. I refresh here. And you can see the new things happened. So, my first screen, which is choose your airline, as you can see. This is fully customizable, guys. Anything you can do. This is like a programming flowchart. I click here. I go down and add another. If the answer to this question is Air Baltic now, jump to Air Baltic, as you can see. Save. Cool. And the second question, which is rate Air Baltic features. I don't want that. I want the Air Baltic one. This is SAS. I have to find it. These Air SAS.
This is the last one.
No, I want the how-to one. So let's move it with some placeholders. Ryanair and how I found it. Okay, this is the one. And from this, I want to always jump to rate Air Baltic. Cool. And from that to rate Air Baltic, I'll always jump to comment section, which is this one. I'm done. Everything is saved as well. I go to my dashboard, EU Top 10 airline, but I want to show people the results. It's just not a rating, a filling application. I want to show people the results as well. So I come to presentation, enable presentation. I don't want people to see the answers. I just people to see the results. So I don't click on that. I don't want people to see their time chart because it's quite new. And save. There are more features, but you don't need it. So, okay, I created this. Now this is a new thing, not the previous one. I can choose. I choose Air Baltic because and you see Air Baltic. I give them, for example, these and these. Continue, and I can comment even. Submit. It's already done, and if I go to Air Baltic, I should see it, as you can see. If I again give, for example, Air Baltic another rating, for example 4, and submit, I skip the second question. As you can see, if I wait something, it automatically happen here. And I can do this for everyone else. And as you can see, this is the second rating. 1% rated great, 1% rated awesome, 1% rated bad, which is everything is me. And that's it. And if I wanted to add another airline, other airlines, I should move the other airlines to the last one. I see, for example, I don't know, Qatar Airways. No comment. I can see that here something else will be created, which is here, Qatar Airways. And if people vote on it, it gets more vote. This is the number one. Everything automatic, and I just launch something that I can see even if people like to rate on airlines or don't, because maybe people don't want to rate airlines. Okay, so they don't want to rate airline. Another great thing is that I can edit it as always. I don't like green, so I don't want green. I want something else. Okay, let's go to appearance. And create something this color. I don't want to show the form title because I have the title here. And save. And this should be updated. As you can see, the colors are updated. Everything is updated. and move forward. I can see the results. Pretty check, guys. Very simple. It's not very complicated. It's not something that requires a lot of things. But as you can see, you can create much more things with it. We just wanted to create something very simple from the start, so you can create it. Actually, we created our own app builder based on this. So I use these templates and everything. If you are focused on creating something that requires more coding, you can, but I don't recommend it from the start. For example, let me show you another great thing that you can do. For example, your application has multiple data sources, not just from collecting data from your system. You can click on CDP, come to connections. You have multiple things. For example, you have another source of data, your business, your website, your Google Analytics, Facebook, anything, and you can create it. For example, I just connected Formaloo and WooCommerce to that. So you can have multiple source of data. You can analyze the customers. You can have your own API keys for working with the SDK to your applications if you want to code to improve it. And best of all is that if you don't want to start from zero, you can go here and open source projects, and everything we create we open source as well. So you can start anything from creating WordPress plugins to creating any Python applications, any JavaScript applications, any Android applications. We have multiple working with other APIs like Twitter, like Facebook, like Google. If you work with Google Cloud, if you work with anything else, you can integrate everything from that. So, for example, another example that we just created is our own roadmap. We want people to vote on the features that they want. We created something like this. People can vote on requested features. My requested feature is import data automatically via Excel that we want to do. So anything else I can suggest. And as you can see, I can see that my rate is automatically up, 43 rate so far for these features that we wanted. And our team will pick the most requested features. Up until now is this advanced report maker, and we created that next. So I can create anything. I can spend a lot of money creating a product roadmap thing, but why, basically? When I can do this very fast, like under an hour, and I can publish it fast, and people can comment on that. We want to see the status of the product roadmap. Okay, I started the status. We want to see the Kanban view. Fine, we add Kanban view. Everything else I can do very fast. So the main goal of showing you guys this is that creating an MVP can be very fast, and collecting data from your audience to see their feedback is very important. You want to see how they use the system, and as you can see the flow of what they are using, and you can see how many people go where, and you can see what features they like without even asking them what features they like, because that's not something that is very accurate. Basically, you have to see what people like. There are other systems that you can see, for example, the users testing, you can see what you can do with it. And what people are using when they are using your system. For example, another great thing to collect feedback is Microsoft Clarity or Hotjar. They are great tools that you can see what people are doing with your software, basically. And that's all you need. You have to create something that you want to do this week and publish it this week and see what happens, change it. And when you are assured that these things work, add it to your main product, or start at a startup and create something much, much bigger based on that. Any questions so far?
Actually, I do have a question.
Sure.
So in regards to, so I'm currently kind of exploring different options as far as creating MVPs. I've looked at kind of new to this. My background essentially, I've been developing with Django React for a few years, looking to speed up the process. So if you were to compare your product to what, let's say to Bubble, something a little bit more traditional, something that's known in the industry. So what are things that you can create with Formaloo? Like under what circumstances would you use Formaloo and instead of Bubble, for instance?
So, very great question. There are a lot of tools. Let me show you a great thing that you can use. I use this a lot to find what I can do. And let me share my screen here. When you want to start creating an MVP, you might need a couple of tools, not just one thing, not just Formaloo or Bubble or anything else for that matter. You need a couple of things. So you can go, for example, to MakerPad or nocode tech to see how you can integrate all of this together. For example, I want to create something customized like an Airtable task management application. I can come here and see how to do combination of tools. So this is very good to see what other no-code applications are out there. For example, Bubble or Landbot. It's very great to creating chatbots or anything else. And there are a lot, from website builder, which is WordPress, Webflow, anything else, to app builders and everything else. So you can create. You have to use multiple tools. For example, with Formaloo, and you can use multiple tools, not just one. You can create something that connects with everything, or even you want to create something yourself with webhook or everything else. But to answer the question, me personally, if I wanted to create something that is customer based, like B2C, which needs something, a small customer base, I use Bubble. For example, something that I want to create a simple applications for a mindset, for example, improving mindset. But everything B2B or anything data-driven, I use Formaloo because it's like a database for the business, and it's like database infrastructure. And Bubble is like creating different views only that can be disconnected as well. So if I wanted to create something for a large amount of audience, B2C applications, I would use that. Anything that is B2B, internal tools, tools that wanted more than one player, like a team, I use Formaloo. But
right, thank you.
yeah, and again, it's very good to combine multiple tools. For example, we have customers that using Bubble and Formaloo. They use Bubble for the interface because they are B2C, but they use Formaloo as an admin panel and dashboard and portal builder to manage their staff, basically, and collect data from that. Another, I hope I answered the question fully.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you. And another question from the chat, can we create app with these tools? Yes, our first MVP was a full-fledged mobile application, which was developed with either Java or Kotlin, and for iOS, it can be Swift UI. And for the SDKs, it can be the React, Python, and any JavaScript based applications, yeah. How's
Yes.
the price?
Sorry.
Okay, good.
Can you hear me?
Sure.
All right. I just wanted to ask if we have the option to actually get the code after we created the application. So we created an MVP application on Formaloo, and we would like to get the application itself. So get the code, and then maybe we work on it later, or maybe something like that. That's my first question. And the second one is that I would like to know, how is the deployment working? So is it deployed on your server, or is because what I saw, it was live that .formaloo.com. Do we have the option to deploy it on our domain or something like that?
Cool. Yes.
Yes.
And the first question, yes, you get the the source version, the source of your applications. Yes. So basically, most of our customers right now, and what we are focused on, that everyone must use their application themselves, then they can publish it in Google Play or App Store, and you need source for that. So absolutely, you get the full source, and you get the full source that can your development team work on. And we have more than 20 applications right now that a full development team is working on to improve and add features to them, and they are not reliable on us, but they use Formaloo as a backend. So the first question was that. The second question was about the deployed. Yes, it can be deployed on your own servers as well. We have Formaloo on premise, which can be installed on your own servers as well. So for big companies, they usually like to have everything on premise, especially if they are working on data sensitive projects like banks, insurance companies, fintech companies. A lot of highly sensitive data, so they can have their own databases, their own servers, and even database encryption.
Oh, thank you. Just one more question. In which language is the code written?
For application?
Yes, the application, the source code that we would be getting.
Kotlin and Java. So it's fully native.
Java.
Yeah.
All right, very good. Thank you.
I have you're welcome. And I have a question from the chat. How is the pricing? What limitations are there for the free version? So we for the free version, there are almost no limitation on the number of data collection, number of databases that you can create, or number of apps, forms, anything else that you want to create. So everything's unlimited. The features, however, are limited for different groups. I will share our database, our pricing section. I hope this answers the questions and I will put it in the chat. You can see, and you can see which one of the tires are better suited for you guys. And another question, but ask me a question if you don't find it on this page. Have any features like music play or podcasting tools? We had podcasting, and we have even games. So yes, you can create anything from that system. We have people creating even curate version of YouTube playlists on that. So yes, you can do anything on that. Any other question? I saw someone else raised hand. You're welcome. And great, guys. So once more, the idea behind this webinar is that you can start today with any tool that you want. Even I know there is not a love for the WordPress, but even from a simple WordPress, you can create something amazing. And a lot of big projects that started, they just started with something that developed with no code. And a lot of them, and I mean a lot of them, stick to it because they can change it as fast as they can. And the change is better of having something that is perfect. Because something that is perfect is usually behind the competitors always. Because they waited a long time to be perfect. Being perfect, people don't like that. People like to say they want something perfect, but they want something that changes as quickly as possible and answer their needs. Because one thing that's for sure, people are not satisfied ever. So if your startup, your product works every time they need something else. Can you add this? Can you add that? Can you we want that? So there is no such thing as a perfect product. Another question, can we web app with Formaloo? Yes, the second MVP that we built was a web application which had a database, that had like 3 views, 23 views, and another data source. Yeah, you can absolutely create a multiple view, multiple database application with Formaloo. Actually, you can create, because Formaloo basically it's a database infrastructure with application view built on top of that. So you can create multiple databases, and there are relational databases, so you can create anything with it. Yes, and service applications, service apps, that's our majority of use, so they can create anything with it. Actually, we had people creating subscription system with it. They created their own shops and their own HR tools. One of our most used features is to create internal tools, for example, for HR team, for event teams to organize their events, or for marketing teams or product teams to manage their data and collect data from other teams in organizations. You're welcome. Cool. Let me see how we are on time. We have 5 minutes. So any more question? Great. Awesome, guys. It was very good to have you all here, and I hope this was useful for you guys. If you have any questions on creating your own MVP, using Formaloo, or even not using Formaloo, just creating your own MVP today, because as you saw, there is not a single reason why shouldn't you start today. There is no blockage. You don't say, I don't have developers, or even if your idea is not complete, you can create something, and as you create it, your idea will form to something great and powerful, and then you can publish it, and people may not like it or love it, and you can change it until it works. Thank you very much, everyone. I hope this was useful for you guys, and I hope to see you again in our next webinar. And if you have any question, I'm happy to answer that via email or via LinkedIn. Please reach out to me. And another question, do you have consultation? Yes, but not paid consultation. Please reach out to me, and we will set up an office hour. But free office hour, obviously. Thank you very much. Have a great day, everyone. Goodbye.